So lads, the Indiana Fever are 18-16. They are below 500 without Caitlin Clark. They are 1-4 as far as I'm aware, with that one win being against the Sky, without Caitlin Clark and Ari McDonald. Or Caitlin Clark or Ari McDonald. They are 3-1 with Caitlin Clark and Ari McDonald. They're 8-3 or 8-5 with Caitlin Clark. And they are the only team to hold, and one of those losses with Caitlin Clark, where they're the only team to hold a fully healthy Liberty. Actually, no, Phoebus got injured early in that game. Nobody's held a fully healthy Liberty close. And in fairness, Commissioner's Cup champions. And I tweeted it at the time. That the Fever had no chance of winning a championship. And people call me crazy. People call me crazy when the Fever won the Commissioner's Cup. I thought that was a success. For me, that was the pinnacle. That was the pinnacle of their season. And I said it, the Fever won the Commissioner's Cup and had their best over record in July. Or sorry, no. That was me hyping up Stephanie White. But yeah, that was basically the my opinion was that was their Super Bowl. That was their absolute Super Bowl. Winning the Commissioner's Cup. I said, if we're being 100% honest, the Fever probably aren't winning the title with or without Caitlin. Links to Liberty / Liberty too good to beat in 7 games. But unless they somehow miss the playoffs, this season will be a success with the Commissioner's Cup win alone. I stand by that. I stand by that. This is a successful season for them. But you guys don't realize just how bad the Fever have been without Caitlin Clark. They are, I kid you not, 9th in net rating since Caitlin's been out in the All-Star break. 9th in net rating. 9th in plus minus. 9th in assists. 11th in assist to turnover ratio. 12th out of 13 in assist percentage. 10th in turnovers. How can you be 9th in assists and 10th in turnovers? And 9th in defensive rating? By the way, there was a 5-game win streak and these are still there. Their underlying numbers. It's scary how bad they've been. And I've said it. Of the 5-game win streak, the Mercury game was impressive. We're not Steph White masterclass. We are not knocking that Mercury game. The way the team stepped up. They beat the Sky. Twice. Did they beat the Sky in that run? I think they beat the Sky in the run. And then they beat the Sky later on. So since Caitlin Clark's been gone, they've went on that 5-game win streak, and since other than the 5-game win streak, they beat the Sky. They're sub 500 since Caitlin's been out. They're sub 500, and they've lost now to the Mystics. I think they're going to lose tomorrow to the Sun, and if they do come out, I predicted them in this 3-game spell against the Wings, Mystics, and Sun to go 2-1. I predicted them to beat the Wings, I predicted them to beat the Mystics, and I predicted them to lose to the Sun. Knowing my luck, they're going to go 1-2, and I'm going to get all 3 wrong. Knowing my luck, I think I've predicted 8 Fever games right. I'm 8-27. It's actually scary how bad I am predicting Fever games. I predicted 8 right. And I wonder if you looked at the Fever, how many times Vegas has been right. I think Vegas has been right with the not even the lines for plus minus or win by X amount of points. I think Vegas has been wrong picking the winners outside of the 4 Sky games. I think Vegas has been wrong picking winners in at least 50% of Fever games. Sorry, in at least 70% of Fever games. Anytime you think the Fever are going to win, they win. They lose. Every time you think the Fever are going to lose, they win. I think they're going to lose to the Suns. They're probably going to win. But Coach White's good system to system struggle to be creative in misfit situations. I think Coach White, Stephanie White, has a system and doesn't give a damn who her players are, rather than building a system around the players. The fakest 5-game winning streak. I don't think Stephanie White's a bad basketball coach. I think Stephanie White is a boring basketball coach. I think Stephanie White is a snake oil saleswoman. I think Stephanie White is basically politician. She just says what you want her to hear and does the opposite. I think Stephanie White plays boring ball. I think Stephanie White is not going to be a good coach for Caitlin Clark. I think she's trying to take away the freedoms of Caitlin Clark. I think she allows players to do dumb shit way too often. I think her rotations are horrendous. I think she probably has a spreadsheet for rotations and that she uses rather than dealing with the game situation. I think she's reactive rather than proactive. She has a team where you can be, even without Caitlin Clark, with Kelsey Mitchell, Leah Boston, you can be proactive and impose your game on another team. She doesn't want to do that. She wants to be reactive. I can tell you of all these negatives, but she's a good game planner and I think she can win games in the playoffs, and what she's very good at doing is winning games as an underdog. That is what Stephanie White is very good at doing. Stephanie White is not someone who's going to win on the front foot. Stephanie White is not someone whose coaching style is going to win by imposing your game on another team, which the unfortunate thing is that that's more fun to watch. It is more fun to watch a knockout artist than it is to watch Floyd Mayweather, than it is to watch a counterpuncher, than it is to watch somebody who's it's more fun to watch a knockout artist than it is to watch a fighter whose whole goal is to get you in the clinch, to pick off some points and get you in the clinch. That's just a fact. That's just a fact. And Caitlin Clark, the way she plays, the way Kelsey Mitchell plays, the way Aaliyah can play, the Fever have the ability to be a knockout artist. And maybe knockout artists don't win championships. Maybe knockout artists don't win championships. But unpopular, in my opinion, this team stinks anyway. You might as well stink and be fun. Be last year's Dallas Wings. At least Dallas were fun last year. They were giving up 107 a game, but they were scoring 106. The amount of games that Dallas Wings scored 100 and lost last year was hilarious. They were regularly scoring 100 and losing. At least they were fun. We're going down, barely putting up a fight. We don't show up in fourth quarters. We don't put in any effort. We lose games because of dumb ISO plays consistently. We can't get easy looks late in games because we don't have any structure. We just have ISO ball. And look, I think the season's pretty much done. I don't see the Indiana Fever doing anything, for being honest. I don't see this team competing in the playoffs. I don't know if I see this team making the playoffs. I think the Sparks are liable to collapse. I think 21 wins gets us there. 3 more. 22 definitely gets us in the playoffs. 22 gets us in that conversation for the 7th seed. 21 wins gets us there. And that 21 makes a bit, and depends on when we win the games. If we go on a 3 games, if we can lose every other game, but I'm confident if we beat the Valks, Sparks, and Storm in a 3-game stretch, we're going to the playoffs because we're not losing to Chicago Sky last game of the year. Like, the Fever are not losing last game of the year to Chicago. I think the Fever lose 3 times to the Lynx. I think the Fever lose to the Mercury. I think the Fever lose to the Sun at the weekend. I think the Fever lose the last time again they faced the Mystics. I think they lose that game as well. But I think the Indiana Fever can win 4 games. And there's no reason why they shouldn't. Realistically, all they have to do, like, if the Fever can just beat the teams that stink, as in the Sun, the Sky, and the Mystics. And the Mystics don't really stink. The Mystics aren't great. If they beat the 2 teams that absolutely stink, which I don't think they're going to beat the Sun, but if they beat the 2 teams that absolutely stink, and they beat the 1 team who doesn't stink but they're trying to lose in the Washington Mystics, the Fever need to win. Just beat the Sparks in the playoffs. So they have a better chance of making the playoffs. And it's one of those things as sports fans. And I hate the people on Twitter that are calling people out for this. Because I'm sorry, it's sports. You are meant to feel like you're going to win the NBA you're going to win the championship after a big win. You're meant to feel like the sky is falling after a big loss. That's sports. That's the emotion of sports. That's the good thing about sports. And if you're someone that's overreacting positively or negatively to any sporting results, I mean this when I say this. If someone's telling you to stop, especially if someone's telling you online, oh, get behind the team, man. I'll get behind the team. But you know what? I'm going to lose my damn mind when they lose. But I'm telling you, don't lose the passion in sports. Don't lose the passion in sports. And for anyone being like, oh, you're a journalist, you should have more integrity in this, man. I'm a guy who talks into a microphone. Just because people like to listen to me does not mean that I'm any more credible than whatever the WNBA version of Late Show Yo is. But anyway, yeah, that's the video. I'll see you guys.